Today on Jerkin Around, we talk. I'm already feeling not good about what we just recorded, and it just happened with the
the popping.
Yeah. But
we're back at our
original stomping ground. Mm-hmm. But we talk about not kissing until you're married.
Yeah.
And what happens if you do kiss before marriage? What happened to Teisha a lot. And then dating advice for the 23 to 26 year olds.
Yeah.
I feel like marriage, of course, kissing with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Goal
what
3 times this week.
About?
We talked about scooter safety.
I got a dog.
And that's it.
Should we say it at the same time?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Jerkin Around, a podcast with Teisha and Crystal. Maybe we were meant to be on video. There's so much to talk about. Let's just get started.
Okay.
Because I want to talk
about what?
That Teisha got another dog. Have I said this on the podcast that when Fox goes, that's the funniest part. I said it literally last week to somebody. That when Fox goes to school, because when Fox started preschool.
Wait, you really got another dog?
Oh, swear. Oh yeah, it happened. And I know she doesn't think it's a good choice because she barely told me about it. So like when she did this, because she did this back when we were in college. We call it college, but it's really when we had our careers, but we were jerking around.
Yeah. we call it college,
but it wasn't college
like we were in
at
college.
all. I had a full-time career job,
Yeah.
so did she.
Yeah.
We weren't in college whatsoever.
It was the 20s.
It was like college part 2.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even go to college together more than 1 year.
Yeah.
But we act like college was together.
I feel like we did though.
Because she'd come in my dorm and stay. That's
and I'd
when she
stay
shit
for
herself.
weeks. That's weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
they'd be like, "Hey, Tish,"
in the dorm.
I'm like, "Hey guys," like it's weird. Like I'd be like, "Get this girl out of here."
It was like a sorority dorm too. Like
yeah.
So in the hall we knew every single person. It wasn't like a normal dorm. It was like that's that room, that's that suite. That we knew everybody's suites, and Teisha was just in ours.
Yeah.
So then after college was college part 2, when I had a house and I had roommates and we had a few parties, a lot, and like everybody was there. Mm-hmm. It was like friends.
And we were hungover at work a lot those days.
That's not my proudest moment. And
no,
future
it's not. We're not proud about it.
No, I'm not proud at all. But it was a blast. So we had these things called.
That's the time in your life
I think that's the time when is the hardest. I always tell my cheerleaders, 18 to 21 is okay. The 22. Actually, I think 23 to 26 is the hardest.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand.
Well, and everyone's at different places. Some people are still jerking around. Some people are getting married and having kids. So it's like very...
And then there's the worry of being the last.
Yeah, I was the last.
No.
Yeah.
Kelly was the last.
Yeah, but I was second to last. It's just the same.
I know, but it's like...
Well, now it doesn't matter.
No, I know, and I tell people, you'd rather be last than be divorced.
Yeah.
So like don't just marry the guy, because not saying divorce is bad, but I'm saying to the 23 to 26 year olds that are worried about being the last one to be married.
Don't just pick one to be not being.
Because we had friends almost doing that. They were like, well, it's like you're on Survivor and we're the 2. So we'll just get married. It's not the right choice because then you'll be first divorce. You'd rather be last than be first divorce because you married someone just because. And we've seen that happen. We're like, we knew you weren't right. So we played along, stood up there with the flowers, as bridesmaids. And then we knew.
Yeah.
But some people I thought would make it have made it.
Yeah. There's no, I think it's just commitment. There's really no recipe. You just got to be committed to making it and investing in your marriage.
Yeah. But be selective in the beginning. Like there was people that got married that I was like, oh, they're totally perfect for each other. And then there's other that I was like, yeah, this is going to be a battle.
Yeah.
Like they are not on the same page.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have battled way more than I thought they would.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And ones that I thought were perfect went through some things. And I'm like, this is not real. So I felt about Chloe and Lamar Odom. I was like, they are perfect. But all the things got to them, like infidelity, fame.
Drugs and a hostel.
That'll
take its toll.
If you don't want to...
Yeah.
I kind of miss talking to the fake mic.
Yeah, I know.
I feel a little back, like we're home.
I know.
I feel like it's a little more flowy.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about my stomach as much. It's just the truth. You were worried and you don't even have one.
No, yeah.
It's just a thing. When you sit a certain way.
Yeah, it's different, yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about being last. Be the first last than rather the first first.
Well, and if I think what is so hard about being the last is you think it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
If someone would have said, hey, it's all going to work out at...
You say that all the time, and I'm not joking. I'm
I
being
do.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like...
If someone would have said, hey, at 28, you're going to meet him, and it's going to be great, and you're going to get all the things, I would have been like, oh, okay, then let's have some fun, you know? But it's when you're thinking it's never going to happen, it is, like, scary. So then you're like...
That's
every guy, like the guy bagging my groceries, I'm all, is he the one? You know, like.
Well, because it's not easy to meet people after. So to go to the bars after 25 is weird. Like it's a little
I was there,
but you didn't feel good. Before 25, you felt fine.
Yeah.
It's like what you're doing. After 25, when most of your friends are like home, pregnant, this, and you're at the bar with like the random at work that you're not even really friends with.
Yeah.
Like it's different then. You're meeting randoms at the bar. You're not really friends with them. You're not safe with them. Like they'll let you go home with whoever.
Yeah.
Like we were just ran into some friends.
That time you did.
And you did. We just met. I'm being serious, and you think we're joking. She did too. We went.
Nothing happened, but I did go.
And that's what I would say on a live podcast as well. So we ran into our friends.
I pretended I was sleeping. I was all. And he's all, hey, and I'm all, you know?
So not much has changed.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of practice for what we're doing now, you know?
We were at the older, there was fewer of us at the bar. And our friends just told us, yeah, remember when we had to go pick you up? This is also again. When he had to go pick you up at that house, I'm like, what house? He's like, in North Scottsdale. I'm like, huh? And then I remember
I don't feel like I was there. I don't remember picking you up anywhere.
You weren't picking me up because you were at your own house.
Oh, yeah.
They picked
Was it the
different
same
people,
night?
Different people, yes.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Different people picked us, I had them pick me up. You had someone else pick you up.
Yeah.
There wasn't Uber back then. So
No.
you had to call a friend, phone a friend. And I did not know that guy. I didn't do anything either. And yeah, it was stupid too.
Yeah, but scary because you can.
There is a thing called beard glasses because it's not even good looking.
Oh, like whiskey colored glasses or whatever. But I don't drink whiskey. But yeah.
No, beer glasses too.
Yeah. Beer goggles. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The next morning
Teisha had.
What?
I'm not gonna say it because it's not nice.
That's so rude.
She had. I can't say it, but now I want to say it.
Don't say it. I don't want you to say it.
She might have had beer goggles for like 2.5 years.
I mean.
Permanent.
Yeah.
She had like a period of beer goggles. Because then there was.
Well, because you know what?
It was the end. It was at the end.
I dated some really good looking guys, and it didn't work out. So I thought maybe.
Who though?
And I'm not naming names.
Who was?
But I thought maybe, just maybe, if I go with the ungood looking, then maybe that's something.
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah. I can remember a few now.
Do you remember what I mean? But I was like, oh, maybe I'm like my picker's off, and I'm just going for looks. So I'm gonna go for.
What were you going for?
I know, that's what I don't know because there wasn't really a lot of that either. But I was like, I'm gonna just not care what they look like, and maybe like I'll get the good guy that treats me great, you know, because it wasn't working with the other guys.
Oh yeah.
And then when the ugly guy's not treating you great, it's like a new low. I'm like, wait, you don't want me? No, I don't want you. Like, you know, I'm like. Hold the phone, this is going weird. Like, I remember one time I was introducing my boyfriend to Megan. She always talks about this, and I'm like, so he's kind of ugly, and like, and
you said that?
Yeah, and she's like, what is happening? And like, she's like, so what's the appeal? I'm like, but he's got a great job, you know? Like, I mean, it was like, yeah. So, anyways, I don't think you should only go for looks, but I don't think you should don't lower your standard.
No, and I do think there's this. I see it all the time with the youngsters. They think that rush in the beginning is all that matters. And it's like the guys that I had the biggest rush in the beginning, I didn't always sustain that rush. You get to know them and the rush changes.
Yeah.
But like with Kyle, it wasn't just a rush in the beginning. And the rush was different. Like I totally had control in the beginning.
Yeah.
I wasn't like where I couldn't.
Like head over heels.
Yeah, where you're like, oh my God. Like there was some that you couldn't think straight, so you were schmucking. You were letting them do whatever because you were just like, talk to me.
Yeah.
And like with Kyle, it was like so much more respect based than just the rush in the beginning.
Yeah.
But there was still like that, like our first kiss. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. I couldn't think straight, and I was telling. Oh boy, I wonder if any parents listen, but they should know this. At cheer practice the other day, we always do a quote in the beginning, and the quote was, just because something feels good doesn't mean it's good for you. And so we were applying it.
Yeah. I feel like most things that feel good aren't good for you.
And that's what I was telling them. And at 18 and 16 and 17, they don't,
Yeah.
Parents don't talk to their kids about so much.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So they're like a sponge when I tell them certain things. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. So we were talking about things that feel good that aren't good for you. And you know naturally where we went. Right to sex. And I didn't say sex, but we said things that feel good, like doing it. It doesn't mean it's good for you. So I'm like, when you're going down that road, and I was like, picture my face. This isn't good for you. Like, don't do it.
Yeah.
And I told them, you have so much more control in a relationship when you don't have sex. As soon as we have sex, we're like codependent. We are like clingers. It totally changes. Because a girl is so worried, let's be real, about their number. That's another thing no one talks about. So when you're dating, you have your number. My number was 0 until Kyle.
Yeah.
And so was Teisha's, for all those young listeners.
Yep,
But
just one.
We had friends that... We're going to talk about the hymen in a minute.
Oh my God.
Okay. But we had so many friends. It's
forgot
such a
about
thing.
that comment.
It's such a thing in my house now.
Is it?
Oh my gosh, but I love it. They're scared to death of it. Okay, hold on. So
We gotta tell that story.
We gotta tell. It's so bad, but good. So
I did think it was weird when you went straight to that in the car. I was like, oh, we're really going for it, you know?
We can't jump there yet. Just pause.
Yeah.
So the number. So when dating girls have sex with someone, they want to make that work so they don't have another number. Like if this doesn't work, great. Then it was all for nothing. So you like cling to it, and this might be too much information.
I'm all.
Then don't say it, probably. But I always share what's too much because I forget anyone listens to this.
Yeah.
But I was in a relationship once where he was such a jerk, but I didn't have sex, but I rated our kissing. And I was like, let's rate our kissing. And so we were rating our relationship, which is a dead sign that I'm clearly not getting what I need from him.
That you need to
I have
rate
never
it?
rated
Yeah.
one thing with Kyle. Like, I always feel like...
I can't even believe you did this. I didn't even know this. I'm embarrassed.
I did not feel secure whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's why I was on the side of the road at the wedding.
Oh, I know.
But I was like, well, okay, how do you think our compatibility is? And he was like a 2. And I was like, okay. So how is our
Kissing?
Well, I tried to do other things first. Then I was like, how's our kissing? And he was like a 10, a 9, or a 10. And then I went to what do you think of my personality? It was a category after that was so important, and I got a 6. And I was like, that made me feel like such a dirty whore.
Yeah.
I just felt so abused.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like,
that's all that you're good for. Yeah.
Yeah. It was something I'll never forget. So then with Kyle after that, I was like, no, because I don't want, maybe that is good. And I don't want you to think that good is falsely giving us identity, because you can have chemistry with someone without having
totally
a relationship with someone. 100%.
I know, that's why when people say, oh, the kissing is good, I'm like, you can have good kissing with 50 people.
Yeah, and
that
even
doesn't
in
mean
marriage,
anything.
you work through the kissing to get better. That's why I think in marriage it's so good.
It gets better after 20 years. Yeah.
You know each other so well. You know what makes this work and that work. Honestly, kissing Kyle was amazing at first, but we waited so long to do the other that actually needed a little, what he liked and what I liked were a little different.
Yeah.
We had to talk.
Work it out.
Yeah. And he was kissing with girls that he didn't have a relationship with.
Yeah.
Where my beginning kissing was all with people I dated for years.
Yeah.
So I was more intimate. He was very not, because it
Yeah.
And that's what's sad to.
Well, that's
people.
why it's sad to do
Yes,
kiss
with
with other
someone you don't-
people. If it's just you and your husband the first time, you're learning together, and you don't have these other experiences influence
that taint you. They totally taint you. So we had to work out the kissing.
And I think kissing, if you aren't attracted in other areas, the kissing isn't as good either. The more
it changes.
It does.
So if I dated a guy that I really enjoyed kissing in the beginning, and I dated a lot of guys I feel that had really good bodies, that was something I really liked. So of course the beginning kissing was great, but then when he was a jerk to me all the time, it you feel abused.
Yeah.
You don't feel good kissing.
Yeah. Well, that's, when you meet someone, you're like, oh, they're so pretty. And then you get to know them, and then you're like, oh, it's different now. You know?
Yeah.
Because personality makes a big difference.
And I think that's in the marriage where it gets hard. When people think they're not attracted anymore, it's really like you're just in a slump.
Yeah,
like he's being rude, you're being rude, you're both busy, you're feeling like he's taking advantage of you, then he's not cute to you. But then all of a sudden when you change, I'm listening to this book about paradigms, it's so good, I just started today. But like when you change your paradigm and appreciate all the things they're doing, then they're attracted to you, then the kissing is good again. Mm-hmm. That's why kissing, aka sex, is so important in a marriage, because it's a parameter of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like if you feel safe or if you don't, it's because you're feeling abused. Not really abused.
Taken advantage of.
Yeah, like resentment or like security.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. But still, ladies, we got to start doing those things to even get a temperature.
Yeah.
Like I was with somebody once and they were like talking about how they don't have sex. And somebody with us listens to Jerkin Around and they were like, you better get going. You know, and like pointed at me and I was like, yeah. It's so important. Sex is such an important part of marriage. And even if, sometimes you've talked about this, where you're not really liking him, but then you do it and then you start liking him again.
Yeah, we're in this week, you know.
Yeah, like, because
the dog, so.
Yes.
We have much to talk about.
Back to that story.
There's going to be a lot of doggy style in my house, if you know what I mean. Like the dogs, doggy style.
I didn't get it at all. I was like, are the dogs doing it?
Yeah, you know it's a bad joke when you have to explain the joke.
Yeah, we used to say boo.
Yeah.
We used to say boo.
Nash interested in you guys. That's what I pictured.
Yeah, the kissing though. So the girls think when the kissing is good, it means they're good. So that's why I kept it out, because I knew that piece would be good. But I was like, I want him to be in love with who I am and what the relationship's like without kissing.
Yeah.
Heavy kissing.
Have that be like a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's true. When you're doing that stuff, you can't think straight.
No.
So don't kiss. Especially if you're not married, you shouldn't be doing all that stuff because it doesn't make anything better. It makes it more complicated.
And like it's special if you only have it with
my friends that have only kissed their husband, it's like I feel like their marriages are easier. There's not baggage you're bringing into it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Do you have any baggage?
No.
Okay. No kissing.
What you got to tell the story though about the cart and the girls.
Oh. So my parents didn't talk to me about sex. It was like a forbidden fruit we don't discuss. And then I wasn't able to go to the sex ed class at school because my parents were very religious, and so they sent me to wilderness survival. Have I told you guys this?
Yeah, so she can start a fire if we're out.
I can do that. I didn't know about sex. So I leave wilderness survival and the kids are like, boner. And I was like, what's a boner? So I was learning everything secondhand through my friends, and weren't being raised the way I was being raised.
Right.
Where you don't have sex. And then at church, they were hounding, don't have sex, purity ring, purity ring. Every week, I swear, they talked about purity ring, and all us teenagers are doing is thinking about sex. So, like, it's not...
It's like the elephant in the room. Yeah. Don't think about the pink elephant, and then it's
that's all you're thinking about. I just pictured a pink elephant. Did you guys? 100%. So, I don't want it to be... Whereas drinking, my parents weren't big drinkers. So, they were like, drink, it's stupid. They just were like, it's stupid. Drink. They weren't like, come drink with us, try it, we'll drive you home. It wasn't like that.
But it was like when you're of age, if you want to have a margarita,
totally.
have a margarita.
I would come home going out and be like, Mom, and they were in bed and they would just laugh. They were like, you're stupid, go to bed, be safe, blah, blah, blah. But they weren't mad at me for drinking of age. I didn't really drink till I was 21.
Yeah.
I might have had like 2 sips of Boone's Farm, or like one night in college, we all had a drink for the first time. We were drinking Boone's. We were faking it more than we were drunk, for sure, besides someone. There was a party in high school that someone did drink at, and that was real.
Well, I was like 75 pounds in high school. Like, I was so small. And we went out with, I was like...
Dawn, I think Dawn listens to this. Dawn, this is for you.
Yeah.
You know who you are. I'm not going to say your last name.
She took us out, a senior.
Yes.
And so...
I think she was a junior. And like, we were sophomores. She was a junior.
She was. I think she was a senior then. Because she was 2 years older than me. And I didn't make it till my sophomore year.
Okay.
So I like looked up to her so much.
We were obsessed with her. Dawn.
Obsessed. She's the best.
She
was like cool. And we didn't really, none of us drank in high school because we were on cheer and it was strict rules. So I'd never drinking. And then we go to this party and I drank alcohol.
We played a game at her house first. It was like a drinking game.
I drank.
But it was high pressure. Like, we were the young, they were the old. It would have been really hard to say no.
Yeah.
It's true. It is hard.
And then I got really drunk because I don't drink and I'm 75 pounds. And I get so intoxicated. And
it was her first time.
I didn't know
Drinking.
how much you take, how much you don't. I got so sick. We were at this random party, and they had put me in the bathroom because I was puking.
She was walking around, so she was puking out the window.
I don't remember any of
I think
it.
you pooped or peed out the window too.
Like
No,
my
you
butt
peed.
out the window.
Yeah, because she couldn't like hold her bowels
On the freeway.
And I had a little, so I couldn't help her. I didn't know what was going on.
They
And
were
just
laughing
driving
at me.
us around.
Remember at the party when you said I was like, I got out of the bathtub, I had puke all over me, and
No, you got in the car. This is on the way to the bathtub.
Oh.
And she was like, yeah! And everyone was like, ah! And she looked like a 2-year-old. So someone's like, who got the kid drunk? And like Dawn's like, she's 16. And she looked like a literal like 10-year-old.
Like I was walking through the halls of the party, people were like jumping out of the way. You know when it's like, and it was like a monster. And I had like,
And she was like,
puke all
hey,
over
guys.
me, and I was all,
Like, trying to, like, talk to
and they were
her.
like, like diving out of the way. Like it was.
And it wasn't safe. That's a thing.
It was not safe.
It wasn't safe. So we put her in the bathtub and just
Left me. So mean.
we'd come by every like 5 minutes, turn on the water and see if she'd flinch. And if she flinched, we knew she was alive. So we'd turn it off and go back.
I don't have any recollection of this, but that is mean.
Mean. Well, I didn't know. And there was all these upperclassmen. I was like, I gotta go, Teish. Johnny Gussick's out there.
Yeah, I'm all camp.
Damn, Quack and Fish, if any of these people listen. We thought they
don't.
were so cool. So I'm like, I gotta go look at what these guys are doing. And I was like, oh, this is what happens at one of these, you know?
Oh,
like,
boy.
And so we took her home. It was awful.
Oh, I was
But
so sick.
You didn't drink. We like both didn't drink again from that. It scared the crap out of us. Like it was scary.
We really didn't drink until college, yeah.
And like 21.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like late college.
Okay, back to the car story.
Oh, yeah. So we want to encourage talking to our kids.
Oh.
Like we want them to come to us with questions and about stuff.
So I'm very like pro let's talk.
And I'm pro talk too. I always talk about stuff.
Because I'd rather them get the information from me rather
too.
than their friends.
And I want them to know they can talk to me about
I don't know
stuff.
if we should share this story. It's so like inappropriate for the girls too.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I don't know. Oh, well.
Nah, it's so funny though. Somehow, how did it get brought up? The hymen. About the hymen.
First they talked about doing it. And they said, how did it get brought up? They asked like,
If it hurts.
if a guy knows, oh yeah, if it hurts. And you said,
I don't know how.
or they said, does a guy know if you've done it with other people?
Yeah.
And then Crystal brings up, there's
Well,
something
we were, like,
that
scaring
happens
him.
when it's your
If
first
you-
time. And I was like, oh wow, we're really getting...
Well, I was like, if you're doing it with a lot of people, they'll know, and it'll be like the Grand Canyon in there. Not really, but I want to scare them. Don't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And she's like, there's something that they know if it's the first time. So your husband will know if you've done it before. And then Maddie was like, oh my God.
Because they're like, what is it? It was like a horror movie in there. And I was like, and she's just like...
And Maddie's like a worrier. She's like me. She worries and stresses. And she's like, oh my God, what did I put... no, that's too
No, it's not. Am I going to pop it with a tampon?
She's like, wait, but what if I use a tampon? Is he going to think I did it before? Like, she was so
So, and
worried.
they can't say hymen, so they're calling it all these weird things.
Yeah.
Is the hiker man okay? And
then Crystal was saying pop, like a cherry pop. And then they were like, it pops? Like, they were so disturbed. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And
I'm all, it's loud.
And I'm Googling, does a tampon break your hymen? I'm all, no, guys, it says here it doesn't. It's stretchy, you know? Like, it was so disturbing in so many ways.
They're scared to death of it. They're like, I don't want my hymen to pop, you know?
It was just, it took a turn of like talking about it. And then they were like, how often do you do it with dads? And so we were saying, and I was like 2 to 3 times a week. And then now every time Hudson's all, Teish, been missing you and you're 2 to 3 times. I'm like, shut up. Like, you know?
But I want them to know, like, it's healthy when you're married.
Yes.
It's not when you're not.
And
like,
then Ken's all, is that why you guys have the door locked on the weekend? You know?
Oh, yeah. So Kyle did the door lock, turned up the TV, and the kids are like, is that why the TV's loud and the door's locked? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So don't come in.
Yeah.
You know, but
Oh, so
I've
funny.
heard that some people that were strong Christians that waited, which is amazing. And I, waited for certain things too. And I heard that sometimes it was so forbidden that they had a hard time in their marriage allowing it because it was so forbidden for so long.
Yeah.
So it's like a hard thing. I want them to know in a marriage it's a beautiful thing. In a relationship it's not.
Right.
It's supposed to, we believe it's for marriage.
Yeah, like, it's good inside of marriage.
But maybe I'm scaring him. I don't know. She's scared to death of that now. I don't
She
know.
was
It's like
so
a war
funny.
movie. Oh my gosh! And she's like, what did Dad say when you know? And I was like, well. So then Kyle's like, what is it? And I was like, because she brought it up in front of him. And she's like, Dad, was it scary on your wedding night? And I was like, because Kyle, he's like, that didn't happen, So I was like, I'm like saying, pump the cherry. She's like, was it like bloody? And he's all, huh? And I'm all, yeah, Maddie, it was. It was an intimate relationship on your wedding night,
Oh, my.
Oh, it was so bad. It went south, though, with the questions. Like, it was a car ride I'll never forget.
Never.
And we told him not to tell anyone, so don't tell anyone, listeners.
Yeah,
You know this story. This is a private story just between us and the jerkies.
And the 200 jerkies that listen. No, maybe like 150.
We don't need to say that. Cut that, Dana.
She's really focused on our decline.
147.2. She only listened to half an episode.
Yeah. I've never listened. I listened to one episode once.
You listened to 5 seconds of one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
I don't like my voice.
I actually like listening. I just sometimes get nervous.
Yeah, remember when you're like, I really resonate with what they're saying? I'm like, yeah, your own story? Yeah, okay.
Moving on, Teisha got a dog. So when...
I got to... First, really quick.
No.
Yes.
This is where she BS's the story.
No. This dog is special, and I met him when
Let me tell my story first, because you're ruining it. Okay, so when Bear was about to start kindergarten, Teisha was scared and decided to have another baby. That was the first thing. She says it has nothing to do with it, but it did.
No,
but
because we tried for a...
No, that's when you started trying, was in preschool, because you got worried about being alone at home.
I just love a lot of love and a lot of kids and a lot of love.
Meet Fox. Well, then after Fox, you're like, we don't want that again. So then when Fox started preschool...
I didn't want to be pregnant ever again.
Yeah, we got a dog. Well, then Fox is in preschool. So now that Fox is starting kindergarten, I'm like, you're getting another dog. Because I know she's not having another kid. So I'm like, or we're going to have a turkey and a llama soon or something. So I'm like, you're getting another dog. So everyone's like, Teisha, are you excited for Fox to start kindergarten? Literally, a week before this dog thing happens, I go, yeah, she'll get another dog or something. Because she's not going to be able to handle it.
And I'm all.
So then I'm at her house the other day and they're like, when Cash is here this weekend, I'm like, who's Cash? She's like, we're watching a dog for the weekend from the ranch. I'm all, oh, Ben hasn't said yes yet? Like, 100%. And then Cash has never went home. And I literally called it a week before. We were in Florida, I think. In Florida, literally a week before. I think it's on the podcast.
Yeah.
So meet Cash. Now she has 2 dogs.
Nash and Cash?
Well, we didn't name Cash because I do wish he had a different name because it's...
I think it's cute.
But it's confusing for the dogs. Like when I say Nash, they're both all... Or when I say Cash... His name. I know. Well, I asked her and she's like, yeah, cause he's kind of in our system as that. Because we're his guardian family. So...
What does that mean?
So... I know maybe some people that listen aren't pro dog breeders, so I might be upsetting some people, but we get him from this wonderful breeder that has like a very loving, it's not like weird conditions, and that's where we also board Nash. It's where we bought him from, and it's the best place ever. They love the dogs. And so Nash goes there, and when we brought him last December for a vacation, I met this other dog that they had who's one of their studs, and I like fell in love with him. He's the sweetest dog ever. And then they were like, yeah, he'll be needing a guardian family at some point. And I was basically like, hey, if you ever need a guardian family for him, we're in. Well, then fast forward to 6 months later, they needed a guardian family. And I was like, oh, he's so sweet. So he's technically still owned by the ranch, but we take care of him until he's like retired as not needed anymore.
Okay.
But he's the sweetest dog
So ever. You can't move. It's like what Hartman said.
Yeah. No, we can't even, and we had to like apply, but they like picked us out of a bunch of people.
So weird question, do you have to pay for him?
No.
Oh, because you're a guardian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, so like when he's done, we would
pay for Nash?
Yeah.
So Nash is the chosen one?
No, they're both so sweet. And they're such good dogs. And Nash is all excited, because that's the reason why I want another dog is Nash is very social.
The reason.
Nash is very social because he grew up at the ranch first, and so I was like, oh, he needs a buddy. And I grew up with 2 labs. I'm just I'm a dog person. I am a dog person. And now Crystal's like, you are a dog. And then Ben is not a dog person, so we're adjusting. But he loves him even more than I imagined. So I'm like, wait a minute. Like, the dog's laying on him. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on with the dog's not allowed on the bed? He's on the bed on top of Ben. I'm like,
every night.
Yeah. Swag with the dog.
How old is the dog?
7 months.
Oh, cute.
He's really.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a Bernedoodle, and he's so sweet. He's the sweetest dog.
Okay. Did you post a picture of him on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay.
That was her introduction to the family.
I saw the picture and I'm like,
That's her light.
Nash.
You know how you gently introduce, like, this might be happening. I'm preparing everyone. Crystal.
So, but Ben is. So I realized with Ben, I have to when I want something, I have to plant the seed.
It's not manipulating.
It's not manipulating.
It's
learning how he works. He's not a fast-moving person. He has to wrap his brain around things. So I first plant the seed of the idea, and then I plant it, and then I water it, you know? And then I say, hey, let's try it. But you're in control. If you don't want him...
you say no.
Exactly.
They have to feel in control.
And then, yeah, so I'm like, hey, let's just take him for the weekend and see how it goes, you know? And then... if it doesn't go good, then yeah, totally. Like, I'm on board with whatever you want, honey. You know? And then...
Classic.
Yeah. And he's like, he's like, you get whatever you want. And I'm like, I know. That's what Kara was like, yeah, Teisha wanted a 4th kid. She got a 4th kid. She wanted another dog. She got another dog. I don't know. But Ben gets what he wants to.
Within reason.
Yeah.
If Teisha wants it too.
Yeah.
I think he's trained more along the lines of your wants now.
Yeah, like we want the same thing.
Yes. Oh man.
I'm feeling. But you were right. I did get another dog, but I'm not getting any more dogs. That's what.
Well, there's no more. What? When the kids leave the house, she'll do something weird.
No.
Yeah, 100,000%. She'll move. She'll do something weird when they.
But I do think because I started thinking.
We have a lot of years till.
But I started thinking about this the other day, and I did grow up in a house of chaos, and I do feel like there is a sense of comfort to me in a chaotic
situation.
And Ben is very calm. Our house is very calm for how many kids we have. Like, it's not a lot of chaos. Well, I guess it is a lot of chaos. I don't know.
They don't even have, like, a sound on. You walk in, it's all...
No.
Like, we have the TV on or, like, something on. It's all...
Well, we have, like, a kids area down. It's a little more crazy down there. But Ben is very, like, he likes more structure and order. And I feel like, I do think I kind of, like, when things calm down, I crave kind of, like...
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because how I grew up.
I think that makes sense.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I crave, but I also crave like a lot of love and joy, and I feel like I want always more like love. And I don't know if that's weird, but
I think it's very normal.
Yeah, like, and it is a little crazy. And Ben's like, okay, how are we gonna be like 20 kids here soon? Like, what are you gonna adopt a kid after? And I'm like,
maybe. That's what I mean. There's something more happening once. Yeah, when it starts to get calm is when you do worry.
Yes, I do like want more chaos.
Yeah, that
Isn't that weird?
It's totally what it is.
Yeah, it's like I crave like
because it's familiar. Like,
yes, I think so. It's weird, and I don't know why.
I crave alone time. Remember, because I was alone a lot as a kid. So mine was more calm.
Yeah. So isn't that funny? Because I started thinking after you said that, I'm like, why do I feel the need once things are kind of
calm,
settled? You know, to like add more into the mix, you know?
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, I do. It's weird.
It is weird. And I'm like, let's get there.
Yeah.
Calm.
Yeah.
I've just craved more calm.
Yeah.
I like the calm. I'm more like Ben though.
You're more like Ben. Yeah.
Very like.
But yeah. But here we are. We got 2 dogs and a partridge in a pear tree.
Soon.
Yeah.
It's all the new owners of the ranch.
I'm all, wait a minute. No, I'm not.
You just planted that idea.
No.
It's kind of exciting.
No, I would never. But I do love the ranch. I'm a big supporter of the ranch. It's great. But yeah, no.
That's funny.
All right.
I feel like it's good.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
I don't have any lessons today.
You did about the marriage and the dating.
Oh, see, a lot of lessons.
The dating's good. I feel like the younger
We
generation
need to remind
needs
everyone,
to hear
get
it.
doing it too. It's just a light reminder.
With your husband, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's issue a challenge to our jerkies, you know?
Try to get 3 in this week.
Yeah, 3 in this week. Let's touch base next week.
I know.
You're going to do it too, Dana.
Okay.
And let's see if it boosts
you know
your
what?
husband's mood.
It
or
does. But
what
this is
it
the
does.
problem. When you boost like that, then they expect that's the new normal. And that is a little weird for me. Because like we were doing more.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh man, it's been. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you were happy.
If we're
for
still
that.
once a week, we're fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, well, it's been 2 days. Like, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
That's like the new standard, and that's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, I do feel
that's the only bad thing about, you got to do like down, up, down, up, down, up, so they don't think it's going to be that
we don't
often. We don't want them getting too ahead of themselves, you know?
Yeah. And I do feel like sometimes Ben does get, I gotta kind of keep him in check sometimes, you know, when he's getting big for his britches.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You act right.
Even when he's getting his way about a lot of things, I've gotta like just put my foot down about something, because I'm like, hold on.
No, you're right. Kyle does too.
Oh, Ben
it's like a ball that, like a rubber band ball, and he starts to, and you know what else? I'm like,
Yeah, like the snowball that's rolling down the hill, how it grows and grows. You know, I'm like, whoa, yeah. So
Kyle totally gets like that. When we start disciplining, he's like, finally.
Yeah.
All right. And you know what? You're going to say sensei at home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is dumb. Now
no, that's how Ben, I'm like, he's putting his foot down and I'm supporting, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're at some sort of, boot
camp.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Kyle
this is gotten crazy.
It's like, what's happening? And he's like, finally, I give him the power.
Yeah.
And he's taking beds out.
Yeah, you give him an inch, they take him out. We're not giving an inch.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Side note, the pool's getting filled today.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So if the Jerkies could pray.
Yeah.
I do want to say something, though. I do want to shout out about, I do want to pray for our friend.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk about those electric scooters and bikes, because we had a week, and I do want to pray. I think I want to pray on the podcast for Brady, because I think there's so much power in prayer, and today's a really big day. But we had two of our good best friends in the same day. One got hit by an electric scooter on a bike, and one got hit on an e-bike.
By cars.
Both were major things. Like, it's crazy. And one's doing better, and one needs a lot of prayer. Yeah. I mean, it's a head injury, and it's major.
And I was talking to our other friend, and she said those e-bikes are really popular right now out in like the East Valley. And she said another person they know is like still in the hospital since February that got hit on an e-bike. So I feel like it's kind of a thing no one's talking about.
That's how I felt, because this happened in one day.
Two friends.
We both have electric scooters for our kids. And I feel like we're like, if there's something going on, especially one of us is more of a worrier than the other, I feel like we would have been like talking like, are you okay? Like, is this a good choice?
Like, I think this is very common, and it's not getting talked about enough.
How dangerous these things are. Some of the things that we're finding, my brother-in-law is a firefighter, and he said one of the things that's really dangerous about the e-bikes is they're quiet. A motorcycle is loud, so even if you don't see them, you can hear them coming.
Yeah.
Whereas an e-bike is very quiet. Cars. And another thing, these kids don't have a license. They don't know the rules of the road.
Right.
Like, when they're going through an intersection, they slow down and look, but they don't stop. They slow down, they look, and they go. Whereas we need to teach the kids to stop at an intersection, wait, maybe even walk the bike. Like, because it's way slower than what happened on both of them. They didn't see him, they weren't there. They came up on him so fast, they both didn't see him coming. Yeah. So we are not specialists in electronic bike safety at all, or anything, but these are just things in conversations this week that I feel like are important to think about.
So our one friend, he got hit by a Jeep, and it like ran his body over, and she told me if he wouldn't have had his helmet on, he would have died, because his head went into the wheel well. And it's like, you should see the marks all over his body.
You can see like the tire marks.
And his knee is like, he has to get a skin graft. I mean, it's like crazy. He had like tread marks on his face.
It's
like,
a miracle though that he is alive.
He's so little, and it's when you see the pictures, it's just it's so scary. So I didn't let Bear ride his scooter to school. He had a whole fight, a whole big thing, but it's really hard to know the balance, because I'm like, I want him to be able to ride and be safe, and I wish they, like you said, they're not educated on the rules of the road. I wish there was like a license.
Like swimming. Wear a fence. Have a fence. It's like on the news. Like, it only takes 5 seconds. I feel like there's not a lot of talk about how dangerous these things are.
Right.
I feel unaware as a parent.
Exactly. And like the kids are unaware too. And I feel like they need to, I wish they did know some road rules. Like, I wish there almost was like a license you had to have to drive these things, where they have to get some sort of education. It's just really like...
Yeah, it's new.
And there's so many around. And as a parent with a kid that's going to be driving soon, it's scary for him, because he could hit somebody because they come up on him not obeying the rules of the road, and he's a new driver. He's not as... It's just, and then he's going to kill some kid and ruin his life. It's just like...
It's scary.
It's so
rocked
stressful.
our world this week. We are like sick about it.
We are so sick.
So,
we need to pray
our friend
for him.
Brady, we want to pray for him today.
Yeah.
He is still in the hospital, and it's really serious.
Yeah.
So let's just pray for
Okay.
Brady. Dear God, we just thank you for this day. We just lift up Brady in your hands, Lord. We pray for a healing hand be over his whole body. Pray for the doctors and nurses to be able to help him, be able to wake up, be safe, have no brain damage, and pray for him to get back to living this beautiful life that you've given us. Lord, we pray for his parents for strength. We pray for guidance, and we just pray that you take care of them, give them peace and understanding. We thank you for all the things you provide in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
All right, I feel like that's good.
Yeah.
If you're really struggling, please reach out to a qualified professional, because that's not us,
We're just here to share our journey
and to make you laugh
and cry
and pick your nose.
and touch your boobs.